We just watched a short film, a documentary about the story of the bells of Saint Gabriel Mission. And it was very powerful, a true story about a young boy who heard of a scheme to kill somebody, and he intervened and he got some silver as a reward. He was poor, from a poor home. And when he realized they need the silver to make the bells for his church, because the silver adds a wonderful tone to the bell, he gladly sacrificed it and gave it to the church, and they used it. Of course, his mother was upset, you know how women are. But nevertheless, he was very blessed and had the Spirit of God in him, and he was moved, and later, of course, he was called to ministry, and he had his confirmation by hearing the bell when he was out in the desert, not knowing if he should go on, turn back, and he was seeking God. Of course, he came from the Spanish background, and you know how they do with churches and bells and all of that stuff. And you know, if you know what we know about what the Torah is and what Yeshua is, and you understand that God has nothing to do with bells, in the sense that it has nothing to do with his word or with Yeshua. It's all from paganism and Roman, polytheistic religions. And Catholic Church is not the church of Yeshua, but nevertheless, the Lord is in everything, because God created everything. So in this case, he led a young boy who had genuine faith in God, in the Creator God. He was using where he was at, which was bells and churches and missions and all of that Catholic mess, in order to confirm his faith and draw him nearer to himself. Because at the end of the day, all roads lead to God, because God created all roads. So you should never put God in a box into thinking, oh, he's only with the Jews, he's only with the Sephardic, he's only with the Orthodox, he's only with the Christian or with the Catholic or the Mormons or the Episcopalian. No, God is in everything. But not everything is God. As a matter of fact, almost everything is not. Almost all of your religions and denominations, etc., they will lead you astray. They're all sticks. Remember Moshe in the wilderness. He was led by God, and the Lord used the stick because this is where Moshe was at. He came out of Egypt, and that was the religion of the day. That would be equivalent to the boy who come from a background of churches and bells. He used the bell because that's what you're familiar with. But eventually he said, now I'm going to elevate you from that. No more stick. Now I want you to just see me. Yeshua said, those who worship the Father must worship in spirit and truth. Now I came to faith through all kinds of different things that I was involved with, and my mistake was, like many of you, giving the glory and the credit to the thing, the organization. I was here and I found God. Well, you can be anywhere. It doesn't matter. It's not about the thing, it's about the Lord. He will find you wherever you are. It doesn't matter where you are. But it matters who finds you, and that you forsake where you are in order to follow him. Peter and his brother were on a boat. They didn't go about boasting about being on boats. You gotta get in a boat. If you go in a boat, the Lord will find you. No, they just dropped the boat, dropped their father, and followed him. So it's really about the Lord. If he is God, and he is, then surely he made the heavens, he made the earth. It all belongs to him, and he's in absolute control. And he draws his children to himself. Wherever you are, you can be a Muslim, a Jew, you could be a Buddhist, you can be a Hindu. It really doesn't matter. Everybody has a portion, everybody has an allotment of faith, a measure of faith, and all can be drawn to him. Some will find Yeshua after he comes back, some will find him before, some believed in him before he even was born. It doesn't matter. God is in everything. It's wherever you are that you get on the right path towards Him, that you want Him in your spirit. That's why the greatest commandment is not about a religious item or ritual or ceremony. It's to love Him with your heart, with your mind, with your being. You can be a Catholic. You can be a Jew. You can even be a Muslim. You think all Muslims go to hell? No. But if you are a good Muslim, one that truly loves the Creator, and you have a good spirit and you love Him, of course you'll be resurrected with the righteous and you'll figure out the rest of it later. You think all Buddhists go to hell? No. You can be a good Buddhist, truly love your brother and yourself, do acts of kindness, be a genuine, truthful person, honest. You're going to be resurrected with the righteous. Because what does the Lord require of you? To do justice, to love mercy. Now, if you do not yet know your God, He's not going to condemn you for it, but that will come later. That's the whole point of the millennial reign of Yeshua, to get that part sorted out. But before you get to that religious part, it's about the human part of you. Are you a genuine, kind person? Do you love justice? Are you hungry for righteousness? That has nothing to do with religion. Are you a good person? Are you kind? Are you loving? Do you help the poor? Do you support the orphans? Do you fight for the righteous cause? It's all about your spirit and your heart, not the stick that you have in your hand or the sandal you have in your feet. So you gotta come out of that religious framework of thought, like this is it, or you gotta join the Episcopalian, you gotta become a Baptist, you gotta put on a tefillin, you gotta be a Sephardic Jew or Ashkenazi or whatever. None of these things matter. And obviously if they did matter, then it wouldn't even make sense. Like, so you tell me there's only one sect of people that get it right? Jehovah's Witnesses, everybody else go to hell? That doesn't even make sense. That would make God some sort of a crazy ogre. No, that's not what He's about. That's what people do. People try to get you to stumble over something so legalistic. No, that's what Yeshua said, the stone, right? The cornerstone. It came to be a stumbling block for people who try to be a stumbling block to others. But He said, follow me in the spirit, worship in spirit. What does it mean to worship in spirit? To have a spirit of righteousness, a spirit of peace, a spirit of joy, a spirit of love. God is love. If you worship Him, you ought to be love, to have love, to show kindness. I met a man today. My grandmother, she grew up speaking German, and she's 88 now with dementia, and she said the other day she wished she had somebody to speak German with. So I said to myself, well, I don't know any German people, but talked to Steven, and he said, well, why don't you just go over to the German part of town, and the Lord will bring someone in your path. Trust in the Lord, make yourself available to be blessed, and the Lord will bless you. So I went. There's a German town here where I live, and I went there and to look for somebody. I just went there. I didn't know anybody. I just walked in. I said, found this man. I was like, hey, I just wanted to see if somebody here would want to go and talk to my grandmother. He was so happy. They're Christians. They love the Torah. They love Israel. He said, me and my wife, we would love to come. And we had a great conversation. They came already the same day. They were so happy. They brought flowers. They brought some candy. Just love and joy. So they're German. So they're a little Christians. So what? They love people. They have love for the Creator. Just joyful, loving people. We couldn't fully understand each other because he doesn't speak much Hebrew and his English not so good, and I don't speak German, but the spirit of love communicates better than words because we both have a genuine love for each other. And it is the most wonderful thing. It is a language that goes beyond the languages of men. And that's the language that the Lord is interested in. So remember that. It's not about your religion. It's about your spiritual condition. To love the Lord with all your heart, all your mind, all your being, outside the framework of religion. That is where salvation lies. That is where God is.